This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
One trash fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares, but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go.
Yeah,
Yeah. How's that? Am I there?
there he is,
There.
Hank Hill, Hell himself.
Okay,
Hank Hell.
so yeah, this will make itself known here in a minute. But
We promise any noise is not piped in later. It's all
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
so welcome to Bois King of the
Bois.
Hill podcast. I'm Mike. This is
And I am Rusty. Yeah, believe it or not.
Rusty. So we are in. Let me check my watch. October.
It is October.
Today is. we're getting close to spooky time.
We are
Right?
we are not just close to spooky time. I would like to think that this entire month is a spooky month. I spend the whole month being spooked.
Yeah.
I like to watch horror movies around this time, campy slashers.
I don't like the fact that they can't see me too.
Yeah, I really don't like
I made
that
a big
either.
effort here, Rusty. Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
Let
very
me
much.
move my
Appreciate
drink.
that. Yeah, I want to make sure that everybody can see.
Yeah, I want everybody to see too.
Yeah,
Here
I
we
want
go.
to see. I want everybody to see the fall.
There we go.
Of Mike Hamilton. So
The fall of Mike Hamilton.
Yeah, this
We're in a
is
very
it. This is-
conservative
This is
town.
pretty much the bottom.
It's pretty.
All right, so
it's pretty scandalous.
since it's spooky season, I think you and I are up to like season 6, episode
Close
what,
to the end.
12,
We're
15, something like that. Right?
Further than that, we're on the last 3 episodes of season 6,
Okay.
which, in our little niche world of King of the Hill podcasts,
Yeah.
we are the #1 King of the Hill podcast in the world, and we are also the furthest along in the show than anybody has done, except for one other guy, but he just like
dead.
he speed runned it, so I don't think it counts.
Well, they were doing like 2 or 3 at a time, right, per episode.
They were doing 2, I think, an episode, and they're putting out
Mm-hmm.
so they're doing 2, so they're putting out double what we were putting out then, because we're only doing 4 a month.
The biggest issue with this is I can't hear.
You can't
what's
hear.
going on there. But
There
if
we
I
go.
do that, then I get these like.
You need to put some like listening devices on the horns.
Yeah, I need something.
Yeah, there you go.
So what I'm saying is we're pretty far into this thing. 13 seasons, right?
There's 13 seasons. We're on
13
season
total.
6, and we're
We're
on
on-
our 3rd year of podcasting
Yeah.
together.
But what I was going to say is, since it's October, I decided that we would go back to season 2, episode 4.
Which is a Halloween-themed episode.
It is literally called Halloween.
Halloween.
This episode aired October 26, 1997. So, been a while.
A long while,
Yeah.
almost.
And
I wouldn't
we-
say a long while, but a long while.
We covered this. This has to be, what,
2 years
2.5
ago?
years ago?
Yeah, I
Something
mean,
like
if it's
that?
season 2,
Yeah.
that would have been like midway
off
through a
one.
year.
But I was looking for episodes that would go into the spooky season, right? And there are literally only 2 Halloween episodes.
There's not very
of
many.
King
Well,
of the Hill.
there's some that you could call spooky. Maybe that cult episode that we just covered.
Yeah, the cult episode, but
That's
the
kinda-
other one is the
kinda
Pygmalion,
creepy.
right?
Pygmalion
Yeah.
is not only one of the spookier ones, but it's like one of the most controversial like
Well, that's the
King
one
of the
that they
Hill
won't
episodes
show.
ever.
Like they won't show it anywhere, right? And
They do on Adult Swim, but anywhere else it's in syndication. Like I think it's on syndication and TBS or something like that.
Yeah.
But they don't. That episode just generally isn't.
Yeah, and
aired a lot.
They
and-
also
and-
edited the
Well,
ending of that one.
say that again, Mason.
They also edited the ending of that one.
Yes, they did
Yeah,
edit
yeah,
the
they did edit the
Mason
ending.
out in the audience there. Joining
Mason.
us, producer Mason.
Also, real quick,
So,
one fun.
It's BE 506's birthday. Happy birthday,
Hey,
BE
happy
506 in the live chat.
birthday.
Awesome.
Who you are?
Do you guys want to feel old real quick?
Say it one more time.
You want to feel old for a second?
Yeah.
Sure.
You saw this came out on October 6th, 1997.
26.
October 26th, 1997. I
Yep.
was a month old.
Oh.
Oh,
good.
wow.
Well, congratulations.
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Mason. Okay, so let's get this sucker started. So basically, Hank is excited about Halloween until somebody complains, and they cancel the holiday for the most
They
part.
did.
Right? This is
Evangelicals.
It's the city council,
Yeah.
that ends up giving in to it. So the way this sucker starts, it starts on Tuesday, October 28th. Started at the Hill House. It's funny to me that it's the Hill House. Like, you know, it
The
seems
Hill
kind
House.
of spooky to me.
Hell House.
But Hank is
The
Hank-
Hills Hell House.
The Hills Hell House.
There you go.
Hank is drawing a chalk outline around Dale on the garage floor,
Mm-hmm.
and the issue he has is he's coming all the way around him, and at when he gets to the cigarette that Dale has in his mouth, he outlines that as well.
He
right?
does.
So
you
we
can't
get,
outline Dale without outlining the cigarette.
Sure.
Probably the hat too.
Yeah, we get okay, Dale, hop on up. I don't know. Looks like he's dead with his tongue sticking out. And so you see the outline and where the cigarette's at. It does kind of
Yeah.
look like his things. And then we come back and we look at all three of these guys standing around looking at this. And Bill has the fake hatchet in his head.
Yep.
Lots of blood coming down the
Spirit
face.
of Halloween.
Yeah,
$9.99.
yeah. I'm sure that I don't even know if those. You think those were around?
I don't know if they're around at that time. I don't remember a Spirit of Halloween in 1997.
Spirit
but, I mean,
stores?
they might have been. Yeah.
Yeah,
They might have
maybe.
been. Artie could check that fact for us. Come
Yeah,
on, fact
check it,
checker.
Artie. By the way, anybody that doesn't know, Artie is our resident fact checker.
Yeah,
He
he's pretty
is
much been with
in,
us. He's been with us
There
since
he is,
like
right there.
yeah.
He's in Florida.
Yeah, he's in Florida now.
Yeah.
When we first met him, I think he was
in New York.
he was in New York, yeah,
Yeah.
and then he moved to Florida.
He's just
but,
just a great guy that does all our fact checking
yeah.
for
He's
us.
been attached to our show since like season 1.
Which, if you
somewhere into season
know anything
1.
about this, it will take a lot of fact checking. So Dale says, "Well, let me try again. I can look deader." And Boomhauer says, "No way, man. Dead is dead. Get no sit up here. He is hanging from the ceiling in the garage because they're trying out like a hanging noose.
Yeah.
You know, because they're building all this scary stuff. And come to find out, what they're basically building all this stuff for is Tom Landry Middle School.
Tom Landry Middle School. They're
Right.
doing like the I don't know if anybody's school ever did one. Ours did, but they had like the haunted hallway thing, and that's kind of what they're gearing up for.
Haunted hallways. We've got those.
Did y'all do those? Did y'all do those in
no,
school?
Again,
Oh, you went to a Christian
I went to
school,
a Christian
yeah.
school
I
and got
forget.
kicked out twice, so we didn't do anything. So Boomhauer, he's griping about being up on the harness there. Hank says, "Well, it's a small price to pay, Boomhauer. I'm the general contractor of the school's haunted house, and it's my responsibility to bring the job in on time, under budget, and over scary." Bill says, "You know, it's the darndest thing. I got a wedgie too." Because Boomhauer's griping about the wedgie he got. Right? He's up
Yeah,
on
because
the
he's
thing.
doing the Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
To
So they
swinging
wince him
around.
down, and in the background we hear Peggy say, "Hank, dinner time. I'm stirring in the cheese powder." So we already know, what kind of meal we're talking about here. I wouldn't say Peggy's a great cook.
I
to
don't
begin
know
with.
if Peggy could make a roux. Do you think she knows how to make a roux?
No, I
Does she
think-
even know what? She probably thinks you're talking
No.
about like a kangaroo. or
I
something.
will say this though, as much as we talk about Peggy and give her shit, she says one of the things in this that I think is the greatest thing she's ever said as far as this show.
You think
goes.
so?
Yeah, here in just a little bit when she gets pissed off.
I got a quick fun
at
fact though
Luann.
before we make it to her. So
Yeah, it needs to be
Sally
quick and
Field
fun.
is actually one of the voices
Sally
in the show.
Field is the one doing
The
what's her
Evangelical.
name? Yeah, the
Yeah,
Evangelical
Junie Harper.
Junie Harper. Yeah. All right, so Hank gets a bright idea, and he thinks he's going to scare Peggy. So he's like, "Oh, hey, Peg Leg, can you come out here and give me a hand?" All the guys kind of hide to scare her. She comes out. She goes, "What is it, honey? I'm right." Ah! And then she sees a big witch, right? Because they have a witch come out at her. Hank says, "Gotcha." She goes, "Oh, that just took a year off my life, I think. So I'm going to scare the pants off those kids, I'll tell you what. I want Bobby to have the perfect Halloween, the kind that I had when I was a boy." Which, I mean, that's great.
Well,
right?
Our fact checker got our fact in pretty quick here. So
Yeah.
he says Spirit of Halloween stores were founded in 1983. So, yeah, there would have been the potential.
That's
Did you
great.
see that they're expanding? It's no longer Spirit of Halloween. It's Spirit of Halloween and Christmas.
Oh,
So
very
they're
nice.
extending into
Yeah,
the Christmas
that's great.
season now. But
that
what
means
So are they we're gonna start dressing up and knocking on people's doors around Christmas
well, I'm
time?
just saying that means abandoned Toys R Us everywhere get a couple extra months, right?
I guess so.
So
Yeah.
Spirit
when he
franchise
says that
needs
he
to make money
wants it
somehow.
like when he was a boy, we get a flashback to Hank dressed much like this.
Yeah,
in
he's
a
actually
little devil costume.
it's almost uncanny
So this is
how
it's
the resemblance is, except for
yeah.
Hank doesn't have a
shaved.
beard.
Yeah,
You have the
about
same, like
yeah.
horn rimmed glasses, that kind
Yeah,
of thing.
that's what I was shooting for. So he's got the little devil pitchfork, and you
Yep.
got the other three guys. Dale's dressed up like a hippie, of
Regular
course,
Hellraisers.
which is crazy to me because he becomes the antithesis
Yeah,
of a hippie.
He's not a hippie.
Boomhauer is a ghost in a sheet, but it kind of reminds me of like Peanuts because he's got flowers all over it.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
But he's still a ghost. Can we turn this one up just a tad?
Just a tad.
Thank you so much. I love a good tad. All right. So, and then you've got Bill, who's dressed up like a convict for some reason. I don't.
I'm
know,
not sure what
I'm not
that's
sure
all
where
about,
that came from. But he's got
honestly,
the black and gray stripes all over him. You know.
Yeah, the traditional,
Yeah,
the
traditional.
old school jail jumpsuits.
Old
most of the
school,
days you see them in
Making big rocks into
orange.
little rocks, all
They
of
look
that
like
kind of
oranges
stuff, right?
now.
So they go up to this lady's house, and it's like, trick or treat. They all say trick or treat.
Mm-hmm.
Lady comes out, and by the way, we do have kind of a Peanuts type music playing in the background. You know, that
Yeah,
thing,
yeah, yeah.
whatever it is.
You just wait for somebody
I can't
to
even get close to that.
try to kick a football.
Yeah. And so the lady answers the door. "Oh, my, aren't you the scariest boys?" And Boomhauer, "Yeah, man, talking about bang on boo, man." And then, of course, Dale asks if she has any candy cigarettes. She says no, but I have chocolate, and I don't really understand this part because they get really pissed off if they only get one bar of chocolate,
Yeah.
but they're the full size Hershey bars.
Well, that's the thing with the candy
What else do you
cigarettes
want?
too. You know, there was like, do you remember the gum? Because you have the candy cigarettes, which was like the white chalky.
Did candy cigarettes turn into gum at some point?
No. They had these ones that were cigarette shaped, but it was gum, and you could blow into it, and
Yeah,
it
I
had
don't
like
want that.
powder in
No.
it. It would blow like a
No.
a powder out.
That sounds like you're trying to assassinate
I think
somebody.
what
I
ended
don't
up
want that.
happening with those is the FDA said these are too close to.
You think it was
like,
the FDA, huh?
I don't know, because it's a gum, and you're blowing smoke out. It simulates. It's more simulated
I just
smoking.
figured it was big cigarette, and they didn't
They
want the
banned
competition.
simulated smoking. I think that's what it was.
So they're bitching about the fact that it's only one. They only got one, but that's not. I mean,
That's
you
something.
know,
I guess
keep-
it's more
keep
than
going.
zero.
But they say, there's only one, and then Hank's like. The next thing we see is they're throwing eggs at a house, and they're
Yeah.
toilet paper in it, and then they knock down a mailbox, but the mailbox says Hill on the side of it.
They hit their own mailbox.
Yeah, he hits his own mailbox, and he says, all right, now let's go to Dale's house, which is just insane. I don't understand why they're knocking
Well,
on their
think
own
about
crap
it.
down.
What do they like to do? They like projects.
Yeah,
So what
that's
they'll
true.
do is they want to
But
relive.
they were kids.
Well, they're reliving their childhood by knocking mailboxes off. So they're just going to knock their own mailboxes, and then it gives them all a project to work on together afterward.
Yeah, I guess so.
Bonding, mail bonding.
It goes back to the current day, and Hank says, "Oh, I think I'll go call my mom," because I guess he feels a little bit of
Nostalgic.
Yeah, I don't know, something. All right, so Peggy walks by, and she sees Luann. Peggy is headed to Megalomart
Head to
because of the big Halloween sale.
infamous
Apparently, there's a big
Megalomart.
run on Halloween things at the Megalomart.
With Chuck Mangione dressed like Satan.
She comes by and she sees Luann in the bathroom, and she's doing her hair and her makeup and stuff. And she goes, "Hey, you want to come with us? Megalomart is running a Halloween special. If you buy 2 rubber masks, they'll punch the nostril holes out for free." Which is insane to me. I've never bought a mask that didn't have nostril holes in it. Luann says, "Sorry, I got to go to my youth fellowship meeting. We're going to deliver a hot meal to old people and then blow on it." I just absolutely love that line. Now we go to the Megalomart and they are shopping, and the thing that struck me about these is the costumes are all those in the cellophane boxes. You guys, I know Casey remembers it, but like they used to sell the costumes in these cellophane boxes. You know, had the cellophane on the front of it, and then like the costume was made out of flammable material.
Yeah, like you're wearing right now.
and
You'd
then
go up in a poof of
what
smoke.
it was worse than
We're
this.
talking about the 50s or the 60s?
Yeah, 50s. Thank you, Mason. Appreciate that. So anyway, they're looking through all the stuff, and Bobby says maybe I can be a Dalmatian, which I mean I've never wanted to be a Dalmatian for Halloween, but I guess that's a
Well, you gotta
perfectly
think,
good costume. Hank,
I could probably be fact check on this, but I'm pretty sure this is about the time where the 101 Dalmatians and stuff was. All those movies were
it's
coming
right?
out. Yeah, around that time maybe. If not,
think it's later now.
if not the first one, at least like the direct-to-DVD third one.
so he says maybe I can be a Dalmatian. Hank says Halloween costumes are supposed to be scary. How's a Dalmatian scary? He goes, oh, they can bite you.
They actually are scary. You know, when they go senile, they get real violent. Like those, like Dalmatians are a bad dog
Dalmatians?
to own. Yeah, they say they're a real bad dog to own because when they get like for kids,
know they're-
because once they get older, they get real like they go blind real easy, and then once
Well,
they
they go blind and they go deaf.
and then that makes
They're such
sometimes
pure breeds.
Big dogs as big as they are, they get a little
Yeah?
violent.
You think
Yeah.
so?
I mean, if you were blind to deaf, wouldn't you be violent?
I don't know. I think I'd be pretty docile.
Okay.
Peggy says, and 9 times out of 10, they go right for the groin. So that's a good point. Hank says, where are the vampires, monsters, ghosts, Elmo, Aladdin, Jenny McCarthy? Boy, that tells you exactly
Jenny
what
McCarthy,
time
yeah.
in the world.
Did she
it
marry
was.
Jim Carrey?
I don't know. about
And then
that.
she went on like a big old anti-vaxxer thing.
He goes, I don't even know what these things are. So now we go over to the community center, and there is a youth fellowship going on right now. This is the one that Luann was going to.
Yep.
The youth minister says, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker. She's a new member of our church who's made herself very known in a short time through a series of gutsy letters, complaints, and threats. Miss Junie Harper.
Miss
So he introduces
Junie
Junie Harper, and Junie
which
Harper is the one that's done
voiced
by
Sally Field.
Sally
Yeah,
Field.
she's voiced by Sally Field.
Yeah, she's holding her Bible, and it's just super close to her.
Yeah,
right?
she loves her Bible.
Yeah,
She has a personal relationship with God.
she loves something. But she's holding that Bible real close, and she says, thank you. Why don't we just start things off with a little quiz? Luann, of course, is like, I hope it's open Bible. She says, can you tell me what this is? She holds up a picture of a witch. And Luann, of course, it's a witch.
It's a witch.
She goes, oh, very good. What's your name? She goes, oh, Luann Platter. She goes, Luann, you answered that so fast. Do you know any witches yourself? She goes, the witches aren't real. She said, yes, they are. They even have their own holiday. Who knows what October holiday is associated with witches, goblins, and Satanists? Everybody in the room raises their hand. She points
Easter.
To she points to Luann and she says, Halloween? She goes,
Halloween. I
oh,
got
smart
that one
little
wrong,
girl,
sorry.
smart girl. Oh, thank you for noticing. So we go back into the line at the Megalomart. We got Bobby, we got Hank and Peggy all standing there in line, ready for to check out. And what floors me about this is there are 9,000 people in the Megalomart. The lines are so long.
Yeah, it's
and
packed
it's
out.
just Halloween.
It's just
Which I don't
Halloween
really
and it's packed
understand.
out. Yeah, it's kind of an odd holiday for the store to be
Yeah, you wouldn't think it'd be packed.
2 for 1
I guess. What's nose holes?
on the whole
No, wait,
store.
wait, wait.
2 for 1, the whole store.
No,
Peg-
it's early sales on Thanksgiving stuff.
That could be that very much.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it's all
Some
cornucopia
early Thanksgiving
sales.
sales. Yeah.
Peggy
Get a
says,
turkey
well,
down.
we still need a costume for Bobby, but at least we got our treats. Hank starts looking through the basket, and he's like, Eat Wells, sugar-free, low-fat fun bars. Peggy, this stuff isn't for trick-or-treaters. It's for diabetics. She goes, I'm not going to gain 10 pounds like I did last year. Bobby snaps pretty quickly and goes, so don't eat it. Just leave it there. No one said you could touch my candy anyway. So now we go over to a picture of the Druids. The Druids around
Druids.
Stonehenge, which
Yeah.
threw me a little bit. But this is still Junie Harper. She says, the ancient Druids celebrated Halloween by eating babies in the light of their jack-o'-lanterns, and then they danced.
You know, I'll go ahead and interject real fast.
Yeah.
I got a fun fact. So
gonna
jack o'
defend the
lanterns.
Druids?
No, it's about jack o' lanterns more than that. It was actually turnips. If you go and like Google like jack o' lanterns, the
Yeah.
first one they used to Sam Hain, the Irish thing where
Turnips.
a lot of Halloween comes from. They actually used like turnips, and they would carve the faces into turnips, which is infinitely scarier than carving into a pumpkin. If you go look those up, it's just absolutely
Agreed.
terrifying.
I've always been
Yeah,
frightened of
The turnips. Yeah, I'm good on
Luann
beets.
just like, she's very taken back by this, and she's taking notes, just furiously taking
She's a
notes.
note taker.
Yeah, she's a big note taker. Now we go. Now we're changing to Wednesday, October 29th. So we're getting really close here, right? We're at the
We're
Hill.
encroaching.
You're right. We're at the Hill House, and Hank is in the kitchen with Bobby, and he's like, "Boy, I sure am glad your grandma kept my old costume." And then it goes over to Bobby, and he's wearing this literal outfit.
same
here.
outfit.
He
He
goes,
stole it.
You know, I used to have a laugh that went along with this. Try it with me, son. And he goes, ha, 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 like this real, devil laugh. And then Bobby laughs, and he's like, or, it's just a
not
terrible
as,
laugh.
Not as good as Hank's.
Yeah, he looks at both his mom and dad and says, scary? He goes, it was disturbing. Luann runs in.
Which that's Halloween. It
That's
doesn't have to
exactly
be
right.
scary.
Doesn't have to be scary. It just needs to be disturbing.
It just needs
Sure.
to make people feel unsettled.
Thus turnips.
Yeah.
Luann runs in and says, Uncle Hank, Aunt Peggy, I have terrible news. Halloween is a satanic holiday. It was invented by the Druish.
The Druish.
Yeah.
Is that like Jewish druids?
It's Jewish Druids. You got that
Ashkenazi
exactly.
Druids.
Peggy says, no, honey, not Druish, the Druids. He goes, where'd you hear that garbage? She goes, it's the truth. Trick-or-treating is devil worship. Junie Harper says so. Hank's starting to, it's getting his ire up, right? I mean, Hank gets,
He's getting
He
pissed.
doesn't like
Yeah.
when you go off from like the way things have always been.
Halloween
Right.
has always been. for
Halloween's
Hank.
always been scary.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
always been you knock your own mailbox over. He goes, Luann, Halloween's just good, clean fun. It's got nothing to do with the devil. And the funny thing is, it goes over to Bobby, and he's like looking at his outfit.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't want to hear any more of your foolishness. And so Luann leaves crying. Peggy, talking to Hank, says, well, what is wrong with you? She put some exciting new thing in her brain, and all she wanted to do was show it to us.
That was it.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. Absolutely love that. All right, now we're at Junie Harper's. Luann is
So
there
innocent, you know?
Yes. Luann is there at the table with some coffee, and they're going over, I don't know how they're going to handle Halloween. Junie Harper says, so you told him about the Druids and the candy corn, and he still thinks Halloween is just fun? She goes, I feel so stupid. He goes, oh, no. First of all, in
Who
the eyes...
invented candy corn? Do you know anything about candy
No,
corn
I don't know
itself?
anything about
No?
candy corn.
We
I
should
know
do a podcast episode about candy corn.
Yeah, let's do that. So she says, in the eyes of the Lord, you're a genius. She says, the devil fools you into thinking you're stupid because it makes it easier for him to trick you. But if you think you're smart, you can resist him. Do you see what I'm saying? She goes, I'm not sure. She goes, Satan! Bam, hits the table. She goes, be gone. Now you see? She goes, oh, yes. I don't know what difference that makes.
Yeah,
You
I
hit the
don't know.
table, and that makes all the difference.
Be
She goes,
gone!
she goes, these days, Satan's getting very, very popular. That's why this Halloween, I'm sponsoring a Hallelujah house.
Hallelujah.
Luann says, what's that? She goes, it's a righteous alternative to those wicked haunted houses. She goes, oh, no, Uncle Hank is running a haunted house down at Bobby's school. She says, the school?
The infamous trunk or treats.
Tell me more. So I told you I went to a Baptist high school.
You did tell me that.
Right.
Yeah.
We, as part of the church, we had one of these Hallelujah houses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was
So-
it hellish?
No, it was all Hallelujah.
No, the experience. Was the experience
Well,
hellish?
let me tell you what happened. They had this old house that somebody in the church had,
Yeah.
right?
There's every church I've been to has a weird house that people
Sure.
live in.
Sure, I think that's the law. And then they would set up the thing, and it honestly reminds me a lot of this. You know, abortion's
Yeah,
bad,
yeah.
this is bad, that's bad, whatever.
It's all
and
bad.
you go see all the bad things, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end, you'll see in this, they have you try to sign a pledge or whatever, that you'll
yeah.
stay away from the bad stuff. Well, one of the things that happened is they wanted to bury a guy in the front yard, and then he would come up out of the ground and scare people.
Oh, wow.
Right? It was too much dirt, and he almost died. So
they buried him.
They had a guy
and
buried in the front
he was
yard.
just like, couldn't
and
get
then
out.
At some point during
Wow.
the Hallelujah house, we all had to get in there and just dig him out.
That must
So-
have been
Mike,
horrible for him.
I bet he said hallelujah when you
He
got him
did say
out.
hallelujah when he came out.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Can I
It
make-
kind of
Can I make one really inappropriate joke?
Yeah, please do.
I don't know if I want to say it.
Okay, then don't do it. So now we're at Tom Landry Middle School gym. Hank and Dale are building a guillotine.
yes, they are.
So Hank says, let's get the rise and run of this thing right. I don't want any blood rushing to my severed head. Then Principal Moss, who we don't have a Principal Moss yet, but we've got a couple of
We
the other
don't.
guys.
We have had 2 people.
So what we're talking
voice
about
acting
is
stuff.
we've done a bunch of AI versions of these characters doing different podcasts, right? So we had Jimmy Witchert. He has one that's all about the eye in the sky, that kind of thing, tinfoil hat stuff.
Yeah.
Then we had Principal Moss, who would come on and do the school announcements.
Like some
every
school
morning,
announcements,
like 5 days a
yeah.
week. Come on and do the school announcements. Well, what we did is we put out a call, and people on that end said, "Oh, I'd like to be that voice," and they've started sending in
which I'll go
auditions.
ahead and say it then,
Yeah,
since
please.
we are recording. If you do want to be a part of it and you do want to like submit a voice and submit some stuff for voices, go ahead and go to BWAAA KOTH, that's 3 A's, KOTH at gmail.com.
3 A's, no waiting.
And send us in your voice acting stuff. And it could be any King of the Hill character. We'll work something out. We're just looking for voices.
So Principal Moss and Junie Harper come in, and
Yep.
she is very worried about what's going on in here.
First
Yeah,
appearance,
please.
first appearance of Principal Moss.
This is the first Principal Moss?
Yeah. That's
Oh,
according
wow.
to Artie, which
Thank
is
you, Artie.
usually pretty right.
Appreciate
So I'll take his word for it on this one.
He comes in with Junie Harper, and Hank's like, "Hey, Principal Moss." He goes, "Hello, Hank." And then he looks at Dale, and Dale's in there smoking a cigarette in
Yep.
the middle school
Gymnasium, yes.
He goes, "Mr.
Perfect
Gribble,
place for a cigarette.
Mr. Gribble, this is a school. You have to take a cigarette outside." "Yes, sir." Jackass says, "What?" And he says, "What?" And then he just walks off laughing. It's the most
Very Dale.
asinine joke.
Jackass says what?
He
Yeah,
goes,
very Dale.
"Hank, Miss Junie Harper, she has some concerns. Apparently some people consider Halloween a religious holiday." Hank's like, "So?" She says, and then Junie speaks up, of course, because nobody's keeping her down. Says, "So our Constitution guarantees a separation of church and state." The principal says, "Miss Harper has a point, and an attorney." Boomhauer in the
That's all
back.
it takes, yeah.
Boomhauer in the back is working on a skeleton in a top hat. She looks at that and she goes, "What's a skeleton for? Planning to read fortunes with casting of bones?" He goes, "No." Then Bill pushes a wooden stand with a witch next, and she goes, "And what's that, a witch? That has got to go." This is enough for Hank at the point where he's like, "I'm not taking any of this stuff out. I want those kids to have a real scary Halloween." She says, "I'm starting to feel like the whole idea of a House of Horrors is wrong." Bill, he comes in and he's got just red paint dripping, right? Because I guess he's been painting blood on things or
Yeah,
whatever.
very
He goes,
menacing.
"Or we could make it a house of pancakes." Big pregnant pause. And he says, "I'm just brainstorming here." Hank
Denny's is better.
Hank says Waffle House. Hank
Well,
says,
Waffle House is better than both of them. We don't
Hank-
have one, though.
No, we don't.
We need one.
Yeah.
No, we don't need. We need one and we don't need one.
Every community needs one. Hank says, "Shut up, Bill. Look, we either do this haunted house the right way or I'm not doing it at all. Now, what's it going to be?" The Principal Moss says, "Hank, we can't afford another lawsuit. We blew our budget fighting wheelchair ramps and left-handed scissors." He goes, so that's how it is. Boomhauer, grab Hagatha. There's only room for one witch in here, and then Hank just storms out. I mean, that's about as pissed as you're going to get, Hank.
I'm a left-handed person,
Yeah.
and there is a website. I can't remember
explains
the
a
name of the website, but you could buy. It's a website that sells nothing. Well, it doesn't really sell them. It aggregates all of it, and it sends you to Amazon links. But there is a uncanny amount of left-handed objects in the world that you could buy, from pencils. Rulers.
Explain that to me. Explain
What?
a left-handed pencil to me.
I mean, you just hold a pencil in your left hand, and it's a left-handed pencil. So they market it as a left-handed pencil.
Somebody's
It just has an
screwing you.
L on it.
Somebody's screwing you on
It's
that.
just like socks when they put an L or an R on socks. Socks are going to fit on
Yeah.
both feet,
Yeah.
right?
Well, not my feet, but yeah. All right, so now we're at the Hill Kitchen with Peggy and Luann. They're both doing dishes. Hank he's all riled up. He's over there drinking a beer, talking about it. "Next year, Bobby's going to be a teenager. It's our last Halloween together, and Junie Harper ruined it." Peggy says, "There's nothing in the Constitution about separation of church and garage. Why don't you make a haunted garage?" He's
can't
like,
do that.
He's like, "Yeah, I guess I could do that." Then, of course, Luann speaks up. "No, Uncle Hank, you could go to hell. See, Junie Harper says a haunted house is a devil's mousetrap, and the fun is the cheese." I want that on a
That
shirt.
would- that
I need
would-
a
you
shirt.
gotta get
that
a shirt
says,
with that,
it's
yeah.
the devil's mousetrap and fun as a cheese. He goes, Luann, just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking. That is rough.
That's tough.
That's rough right there.
But it's not the only time that he says something that rough to
no.
I think he speaks to her the worst.
He does. He does. She says, Junie says I'm smart, so don't try to trick me into thinking I'm not. Peggy gets in the middle of this. She goes, now, hold on. Luann is not stupid, and neither is Hank's idea for a haunted house. So you can have your haunted garage, and you can be smart, talking to Luann, right?
So we have a nod here
Yeah.
in chat. He said, can confirm the sock thing. I did work at a sock factory, and some
at
of
a
them
sock
were
factory.
left or right. So they had two production streams, one for left sock, one for the right sock.
That's not a thing. Hank says he goes. Sorry, Peggy says you can be smart. He can have his haunted house. She goes, but Junie Harper says. Hank busts into that. Junie Harper says last time I checked, it wasn't Junie Harper's face on that stained glass window at Arlen First Methodist, and he storms out again. That's two storm outs by Hank in
two.
one episode, right? All right, so Bobby and Hank are now walking down the street. It's nighttime. He's trying to get Bobby into like the old timey Halloween tradition.
Yeah.
Right? Like knocking
All the
down your
old
own
stuff.
mailbox, which I will never get over.
TP, eggs.
He
that whole
says,
thing.
Bobby, next Halloween, you're going to be too old to dress up and get candy. He goes, what? Like that came as a real surprise to Bobby. He goes, now don't panic. Treats are only half of the trick or treat. And then he gets to a house and he pulls out some eggs and some toilet paper. Traditional Halloween type stuff. He goes, it's time you learn to give as well as receive. He goes, you're not going to throw that, are you? He goes, Bobby, of course I am. It's a sign of respect. You know, you could use a little respect right now. He goes, Dale could use a little respect. Then we see Junie Harper. She's come out onto her porch, and she's calling for her cat. Her cat's missing.
Cat's gone.
Her cat, Joshua. So she's like, Joshua, kitty, Joshua. And then
Hell of a
Hank,
name for a cat.
yeah. Hank looks over, and he's like, I'm suddenly reminded of a Bible quote. Do unto others. Well, I don't think that's a whole quote, but
Yeah, I don't think it is either. Just
Bobby,
paraphrasing here.
Bobby says, I don't know, Dad, this is vandalism. Vandalism isn't cool. So you know that was like grilled into him or pushed into him at school.
Yeah,
isn't
vandalism's
cool.
not cool, Dad.
Hank's response to that, and this is Hank again. He's like, Bobby, that attitude is a little immature. Now, come on. And he starts throwing toilet paper. He throws it to him, and Bobby tries to chunk it, and it just kind of goes, bloop, and then it just rolls right back to him because he doesn't have it.
He doesn't have an arm. He has
Uh-huh.
zero athleticism, and he probably not only can he not throw toilet paper, he can't throw a baseball, softball, basketball,
No.
football, anything with a ball in it.
No. He says, you got to have a backspin on it, son. And he shows him how to throw it, right? And so they start throwing toilet paper and all
You
that
got to hold
stuff.
the thread. And
Bobby, he throws it, and he throws it the right way, but he hits the birdhouse, knocks it right out of the tree, goes down on the ground. It's all busted up.
vandalism to the extreme here.
Junie Harper hears this, and she goes, I'm not afraid of you, Satanists. And Hank's like, come on, boy. And so they start running away. She goes, I won't be afraid. I'll stand up to all of you. She gets into her car, and she starts backing out because she's going to go after these terrible vandals.
Yep.
She runs over Joshua.
Poor cat.
She kills the cat.
Rest in peace
Right?
to Joshua.
Kills the cat. They
First and last time that Joshua appears in
That's
King of the Hill.
right. Joshua was in it for a very short amount of time. She backs out. She's chasing them down. Hank goes up over the fence. Bobby tries to get over the fence. Can't.
He
She
can't
pulls,
really do much of anything
No.
physical. I don't know why he would even attempt. Like, if there were, like, what's really funny is I bet he went to jump over the fence, and if he would have went like 3 more feet, he probably could have just went around it.
Probably. But he's kind of like stuck on the fence. Hank
Stuck.
helps him down.
Yeah, very stuck.
They finally get away, and they run around the corner, and then they see the cops come by, and Bobby's like, oh, it's the fuzz. He goes, quick, ditch the evidence. And so they start throwing it away. They throw it. They just like chunk it all.
Yeah.
They then see a scene of Dale sitting in his underwear in the dark in his house watching Sanford and Son. The only reason you know that is because of the music.
Yeah.
And this stuff hits the top of the house, and he's just like, ah! And he hits the ground, and I mean, he's freaked out, right? Because all the crap hits his house. All right, so now we're at the Hill House, and the cops have come over there because Junie Harper saw Bobby. And so the first thing you hear is from Peggy. She goes, well, there must be some mistake. My Bobby? And the cop says, son, did you pay Mrs. Harper a little visit tonight? And Bobby's finally like, yeah. After looking at Hank back and forth, you know, kind of being sheepish about it, she goes, Bobby. And Hank says, no, don't jump all over the boy. The truth is, this is my fault. Junie Harper, of course, standing next to the cop, says, well, of course it is. His antisocial behavior is a result of your whole family's anti-Christian values.
Ooh.
Yeah, Peggy says, you hold it right there, Junie Harper. You are out of order. I go to church, too, and I've raffled and bingoed and bake-sailed my way as close to the good Lord as you. So do not try to one-up me, because I will one-up yours.
And
That
she
is
has
the
a lawyer,
greatest
too, though.
quote that Peggy has ever had.
But
Do
Junie's
not
got a
try to
lawyer.
one-up me, because I will one-up yours.
What she is, that's like Peggy. If anybody in the audience knows anything about Peggy, that is her whole shtick. Is she tries to
Yeah.
one up everybody? So
And she's a
if she
terrible
said,
person.
"Well, if you say, well, I read the entire Bible," she's read it 5 times.
Sure. So Junie comes back with the complacency of fools will destroy them, Proverbs. Hank, of course, says, get out of my house, Exodus.
Exodus.
So that's it.
There you go.
He's now putting Bobby to bed, and he's kind of whispering to Bobby. He's like, you're a regular Halloween hellraiser, just like your old man. Peggy walks by, and of course he goes, and I'm very disappointed in you, right?
Yeah, it's the old, when my dad caught me smoking cigarettes when I was younger, he was like, oh, just don't let your mom or your brother and sister see, kind of thing.
My dad saw me with all the holes all over my shirts and said, are you smoking? I was like, no. Oh, okay, great.
My dad actually went digging through my room, and there was like this little attic space, and I would hide my cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
I would push the little thing out the way, and I would hide my cigarettes there. He found cigarettes and a bag of seeds and stems.
My dad put down his pipe and asked me if I'd been smoking. So
Yeah, he sat there and tapped his pipe out. You been smoking there,
You been
son?
smoking, kid?
been
You need to
smoking,
stop
bud?
that.
You been
Well,
smoking a
did you,
pancake?
Mike?
say it again.
Did you?
Did I smoke?
Yeah, did you use his pipe?
Did I use a pipe?
His pipe, yeah. Did you?
No. I'm saying he put his pipe down as he was smoking and asked me if I'd been smoking.
Have you been smoking?
Like wanted to teach me a lesson.
Did I ever tell you guys about the first time I smoked?
No.
Oh, go
Tell
ahead.
me about
Yeah,
the first
tell us,
time you
Mason.
smoked.
Okay. Statute of limitations should have passed by this.
I don't think there is such a thing, but go ahead.
I don't know. I was working at a Domino's. It was fun, but I hated it. It was my senior year, and I just got off my shift, and my stepmom had started smoking again at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just watching her do it. I'd always kind of wanted to.
You always kind of wanted to smoke?
Yeah, well,
Set that
It-
bar high, Mason.
no, I wanted to look cool.
Yeah,
I watched
I get
a
you.
lot of
Sure.
early
Yeah,
2000 stuff.
understood.
Smoking makes you look cool.
Right.
And so I just, I see her do it, and I've always kind of fascinated by the smell, and I just asked, can I I think I was just, I think I was either 17 or about to be 18
Yeah.
at this point.
Oh,
Or 18
okay.
already.
Yeah.
Lot older than I was. I was 8, and we used to steal packs of cigarettes from my friend's mom, and we'd go in the backyard, and we would take like 2 hits, and we'd be so sick. And then we'd go back the next weekend, and we'd take another, and we'd be so sick, and then eventually
Yeah.
we
That'll do it.
got
Turn you
addicted
green.
to them. Yeah, we got addicted to them doing it.
So-
So you would have failed Darwinism, Rusty, is what you're telling me.
yeah, probably so. Yeah.
I smoked 3 packs a day for like
I did at one
15,
point.
20 years.
When I was doing
And I-
construction,
a long time.
I
And I
smoked
Too
a lot.
much.
long story short, I took 1 hit and I threw up.
There you go.
Yep, it'll do it.
Taught you a lesson.
Nicotine
Thursday,
will
October
make you
30th
nauseous.
is now where we're at. Bobby and Hank are driving by. They drive by Junie's house, and she's taking the toilet paper out of the trees. We also see what is one of the saddest things ever is these 2 birds are trying to get into the smash bird house. They keep
Yeah, they're
smacking their
they're,
head on the.
It
on
looks
the stupid
it's
thing.
kind of sad. That scene's kind of like
It is. It's very sad.
their habitat has been destroyed. Their eggs are crushed.
Bobby says, "I'll never use toilet paper in anger again." That's
That's
pretty
a good
too.
quote.
Yeah, I like that. That's another shirt. Later in Bobby's room, Lou Ann's coming by, and she's like, "Are you all right? I didn't hear the TV on." I love that too. He goes, "I grounded myself. I don't deserve to watch TV after what I did last night." She goes, "It's not your fault. It's Uncle Hank's fault. He's a Satanist, Bobby." I mean, she's made a huge leap here.
Huge leap,
Hank is a Satanist,
which is about as far away from the description of Hank as you could get.
Bobby says, "Come on, Luann, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard." She goes, "It's true." He goes, "Oh, dang." That's all he needed was, "It's true."
Oh,
He says,
dang.
"Oh, dang."
Oh, dang.
She goes, that's why Uncle Hank smirched my ideas about Halloween. Smirched. The devil doesn't want you to know the truth. Did your father ever make you drink blood? He said, he made me eat liver once. She goes, well, there you go. That's a recovered memory. Think, Bobby. What else can you remember? Then he has his flashback, and he sees Megalomart, where Hank's going, where are all the vampires and monsters and ghosts? And then it gets a little worse, where he sees Hank in kind of this reddish hue, and he goes, you're a regular Hellraiser, just like your old man. And then
It cuts to that. It's the infamous scene of Hank going,
yeah. the last one is Hank trying to give him liver on a cracker. And he goes, it's just liver. It's not going to kill you. And then it's like, ha, ha. And you see the flames and the whole thing, right? Next thing we see is we are at Arlen City Hall. So there's a city council meeting going on. Dale is standing up, of course, in front of the city council. I can't imagine
Which it
how many
shows you how
times he
small
stands
this
up in front
town
of
is because the town is meeting to cancel Halloween.
Absolutely. He goes, the vandalism upon my house can only be described as a hate crime. Somebody hates me. The city council member says, let the record show that somebody hates Dale Gribble.
That's not the definition of hate crime, is it?
No, I don't think so.
No, I didn't think so.
Junie Harper comes up and says, last night my house was also attacked by Satanists. The same council member says, Miss Harper, what evidence do you have of that? She goes, what evidence? How about this? And she dumps the dead cat out on the table. Everybody freaks out.
Which is the cat that she killed, by the way. So
That's exactly
she's
right.
gaslighting the whole room.
That's exactly right.
Propane and propane only.
Now we go over to the Hill House again. Hank is hanging up his banner that says Hank Hell's Haunted House on the banner, right?
Hank
Which
Hell.
I think is
I like
It's
it. I like it.
pretty snappy. Peggy says, well, I think it's perfect, although I still think Hank Heck works just as well. No, it really doesn't. Luann comes out and she goes, yes, Halloween is canceled. I just got off the phone with Miss Junie Harper. She said the city council passed a curfew because the Satanists made her run over her cat.
She ran over her cat. Now she's trying to blame it on somebody else.
Hank says, what about the trick-or-treaters? She goes, there won't be any trick-or-treaters. See, Uncle Hank, you were wrong. You said I was wrong, but now everyone agrees with me. He goes, nobody agrees with you. You agree with everybody else. You agree with any idiot who says anything. I mean, he's rough
going
on this
in on
girl.
her on this one. But he is kind of right because we just covered
Sure.
an episode in season 6 where she gets strung up into a cult of a bunch of women named Jane.
I don't know how Satan does this. This zipper
Is
is
it
really
tough?
bugging me. Yeah.
I imagine he has a better tailor.
Probably. So she goes, stop attacking her, Hank. Luann didn't cancel Halloween. Junie Harper did. Bobby's in the background just kind of riding around on his bike.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't care what she does. Tomorrow night I'm going to teach Bobby the true meaning of Halloween. Come hell or high water. They go inside. Bobby comes up to Luann. He goes, my dad sure wants me to be at that haunted house. Last time he wanted me to be somewhere so bad I woke up without tonsils. And then he opens his mouth and shows her. She goes, this time he may be after your soul. He goes, I'm scared, Luann. She goes, I can't help you, Bobby, but I know who can. And then she looks up the light pole, and it looks like a cross. And and we see the banner with Junie Harper and her Hallelujah House on it. And she goes, Miss Junie Harper. Now we go over to Friday, October 31st. This is, of course, Halloween night. We see the streets are completely empty. I mean, there's like tumbleweeds going down the street.
And it's weird. Like
It is
it's
very weird.
like going in like crappy neighborhoods on Halloween. There's nobody ever like. I grew up in a not like great Halloween neighborhood. There's no like we had like one trick or treater in like 20 years.
Our neighborhood, they dump off like a million kids, which I'm not griping because I really enjoy the idea of sitting out there and just making fun
We
of
go
the
to
kids
rich
and
neighborhoods
throwing candy at them.
for Halloween now ourselves. We don't drop them off,
Yeah.
but we go with them to like neighborhoods in Robinson and stuff.
So we are. It's now Halloween night. Like I say, the streets are really empty.
Halloween night.
Luann drives Bobby up to the Hallelujah House, which, by the way, it says Hallelujah House, $5, a Hallelujah Incorporated production.
Oh, wow, so they
This lady's been
incorporated-
thinking about this, right?
Well,
She's got-
they said she
she's
had lawyers,
incorporated.
so she doesn't just have lawyers; she has
Yeah.
corporate
Yeah.
lawyers. They're
So-
Druish.
Yeah, they're Jewish. Bobby says, thanks for helping me get away. I heard Satanists like my dad always like to sacrifice virgins, so we both be very careful.
Yeah, both
Luann's
be
like,
very
yeah, okay. Now we're back at Hank's house, and he's got the banner up for Hank's Hell House.
Yep.
He's like, where is everybody? I can't believe they're all staying home because of a curfew. And where the heck is Bobby? Peggy says, well, he's still out with Luann. I sent him to the store for more high C. Now, I guess that was a fool's errand because there's nobody there.
I think the only curfew on Halloween should be for pedophiles.
Well, they should probably have a curfew.
They do
anyway.
though. They have to go to like the probation office, and since
Sure.
probation office,
Sure. Yeah.
they're gonna have to build more buildings.
Okay.
There's a high population of pedophiles in the area. That's all I'm saying.
Hank says, isn't there one person in this town with the courage to celebrate Halloween? Dale on a bullhorn from inside his house says, Hank, while you're out there, turn off my hose. We're now at the Hallelujah house. Junie Harper is dressed like an angel, and she's welcoming in all these kids. She
Yeah.
goes, first of all, I'd like to say hello to everybody. She thinks that's super funny.
Yeah.
Now follow me, children. No pushing. He who is last is first. Then she leads all
That's
the
such
kids.
an odd saying.
Yeah.
He who is last is first. I don't even. What does that even mean?
I don't know. It's the Bible. So she leads all the kids in the house, and then they're going from room to room. And like I talked about, this is a Hallelujah house where things are bad, right? You're
Yeah.
supposed to look at it and go, "Oh my God, I can't let that happen." So the first thing we see is a couple of kids on a park bench, middle of the night. They're sitting there, and she goes, "What do we have here?" It's a young unmarried couple who are about to let their hormones get the best of them. And she spins the whole thing around. I mean, this is a huge production.
Huge.
She spins the whole thing around, and it's a morgue. And both of their feet are hanging there with toe tags on them. And she goes, I guess the old saying, sex kills. Then they go to the next room. It's two people sitting at a table like for dinner, right? And the guy at the table says, dinner's ready. And then he goes, where's Grandpa? Grandpa comes in, but he's a big ape, right? So
Yeah.
a big ape comes in, and Junie says, that's your grandpa? He goes, haven't you heard? Our ancestors are monkeys. And
That's that honestly is my favorite joke in the whole show. Is that that ape costume?
the gorilla goes over to a baby doll that they have sitting there, and he starts picking it up and eating the baby doll.
Yeah.
And the lady sitting at the table, oh no, he's eating the baby. Stop him, honey.
Asinine.
He goes, oh, we can't. It's against the law to teach creationism. So that proves a point to all the kids. Now we go back to the Hill
I know what
House.
you're
We're
laughing
in.
at, Mike. I'm inspired right now.
Are you
My mind
inspired?
is-
That's
my
great.
mind is opened.
I'll drop you off. I'll drop you off at a Hallelujah House on the way home.
I've got a New Testament in the car for you.
We're back at the Hill House inside. Luann is on the couch. Peggy comes in from outside, sitting there with Hank. She goes, have you seen Bobby? She goes, I think he said he was going to the gym. Well, everybody who's ever watched this show knows that's not true. He's not going to the gym.
Oh, Bobby going to a gym?
Yeah.
Nah.
Peggy's like, Luann. She goes, all right, I took him to Junie Harper's. He's a lot better off there. She goes, what are you talking about? Well, I think it's better for a child to receive wholesome impressions from established religious authorities than participate in rituals that are conducted by people who don't know they are pawns of the devil. That is quite a mouthful for Luann.
That is a mouthful.
She goes,
Sounds crazy.
little Missy, you hold it right there.
TLDR.
I have had it up to here with your baloney. I have taken you into my home. I have sheltered and fed you. If you step between my husband and his son, I will cast you out like yesterday's garbage.
Which is,
I mean, that is rough.
Which is rough.
Luann is she's broken up. She's starting to cry. She goes, from now on, you leave the parenting to us. We get a magazine about it. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that proves it. Peggy goes back outside.
A to Z for parents.
I
She
mean, it's
goes-
rough, but I mean, I don't. I
Well,
can't
she's got a
consider-
point.
Peggy's
She
not
does have a
wrong in
point.
this.
Yeah.
She does have a
Peggy
point.
probably should have noticed a lot earlier.
If you're a
but she's got
guest in
point.
somebody's house, you probably shouldn't be telling people who you're a guest of that they should do this and that with their kids.
Peggy
That's
comes back
probably
out.
cool.
She's got an Alamo for Hank. She goes, here, I brought you a nice cold beer. He goes, thanks, Peggy. She hands him the Alamo. She goes, Luann took Bobby to Junie Harper's for an anti-Halloween church party. He goes, like, he's got all this beer in his mouth. He should have done a spit take.
But he swallows
Right.
it because even you just can't
Well,
waste beer, man.
He said,
you can't waste.
He goes, I came very close to spitting out beer.
Yeah, I can't. I almost wasted my beer, man.
She goes, I knew you'd be upset. He goes, they wrecked my haunted house. They outlawed my trick-or-treating. And now they want to brainwash my boy. It's time for somebody to do something. Next thing we see is in front of Hank's house. There's cops patrolling the streets.
Yeah,
Hank has had enough.
police everywhere, which is kind of weird. It's really like dystopia.
Police, not police.
Police.
Hank comes out the front door. He is wearing this very devil costume, but it was made for a small boy, so it is very, very small on him.
Yeah.
But he is standing up for what he believes in.
Yours is made for a big boy.
Mine is made for a big
He's got
boy.
his
I bought it in the
big-
big
he's
boy
got his big
section.
boy
This is
costume
a husky devil costume.
There you go.
She goes, Hank, no, you could go to jail. He goes, I knew the risk when I put on the uniform. The uniform. This is his uniform.
Which it is, right? He's about to.
He goes out into the street.
go into
Yes,
battle.
exactly. He goes out into the street and he's just like, trick or treat, trick or treat. I mean, he's just saying it as loud as he
screaming it. Yeah.
can. Boomhauer walks out and he's like, hey, man, check it out, man. And he starts going with him. He goes, I don't need a dang old costume, man. I'm a dang old mime because I'm like, getting in this box. I said, tug of war, man. And so they just keep going down the street.
Yeah.
They're yelling trick or treat. They keep marching down the street. Bill runs out in a sheet, and he goes, here comes a ghost. And, of course, he steps on the sheet, rips it. It's hanging down here, and so he just goes, Toga! Yeah. So they're all going down the street, trick or treat, trick or treat. Here comes Dale. He's in a three-piece suit. Of course, he's got his hat on and his cigarette. And he goes, boo, I am a high-priced Washington lobbyist peddling influence. Who wants some candy? So they all join forces. They're walking down the street, just trick or treat, trick or treat. Luann comes running out. She looks like Loki, right? She's got her hair all up in horns and stuff, but she comes out and she goes, Uncle Hank. I mean, she's crying. Uncle Hank, trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. He goes, come on.
Came to her senses.
Finally, he goes, come on, Luann. And so they're all marching down the street, just screaming trick or treat, trick or treat. All the neighbors start coming out, and so now
It's like an Eye of the Tiger moment.
it's
Eye of the tiger,
it's like
the
it's like
thrill
they're
of the
storming after Frankenstein, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
all the villagers, or
All the
something.
villagers.
But they're all going down the street, and they're going straight to Junie Harper's house. We now go into the Hallelujah house. And we've got a couple of guys that in any other life they'd be used car salesmen because they're sitting at card tables with these poor kids who have gone through the Hallelujah house and they're like, all right, Susie, what's it going to take for you to join the Hallelujah Club tonight? Like he's trying to get her into a mid-sized Datsun.
I got 2 high C, drinks and a Snicker bar. What is it going to take?
The other guy talked to a different kid. He goes, look, you took the brownie. I didn't make you take the brownie. So he's trying to get just trying to get him to sign the thing. Bobby. He signs the pledge, right? Did
he read the fine print,
Hallelujah Club pledge form.
He could have just signed his life away.
Junie comes up behind him. He's like, congratulations, Bobby. Hey, everybody, listen up. Bobby has joined the Hallelujah Club. And everybody's just like, oh, hallelujah, hallelujah, Bobby. And Bobby,
boy ain't right.
Bobby looks at her. And he's like, can I have another brownie? That's all he's really worried about.
That's all he was worried about.
Outside, you start here, trick or treat, trick or treat. We're hearing this coming up to her house. Junie says, I'll handle this. She goes out. She opens up the door to Hank in the devil suit, the rest of the people behind him. And she says, he goes, trick or treat. Hey, Bobby, because he's standing right behind her. He goes, go away, Satan. He goes, Bobby, it's just a costume. Junie says, there's a curfew in effect, Mr. Hill, but I guess you have no respect for man's law either. He goes, I've had enough of this nonsense. Come on, son, let's go trick-or-treating. She says, he will not, because he is a good boy. She's just like holding Bobby back the whole time, right?
Which is crazy.
Bobby's
step
super
in between
torn,
somebody
though.
and their kid.
Yeah, Bobby's super torn, like he's looking back and forth.
Yeah,
and
he
back
knows
and
what
forth.
he wants.
Exactly.
He wants a brownie, but he also wants candy.
He wants a brownie, but he also wants candy. He goes, all right, Bobby, I don't want to force you to come. I just want to spend Halloween with my son.
Well, I was going to say, this trope right here is like the angel sitting on your left shoulder and the devil sitting on your right shoulder kind of thing.
He goes, he says, I guess I can't do it this year. It just tears my heart out. And he goes, oh, and he pulls out a fake heart and just goes, all the kids start laughing. They think that's very funny. Junie's like, oh, what do you think you're doing? The kids are laughing and laughing. He goes, oh, I'm just keeping an eye out for my son. And he pops an egg out of his head, like,
like an eyeball. Yeah, do the eyeball trick with an egg, the old egg eyeball trick,
He goes, oh, mercy, what have I done? The kids are laughing and laughing. Junie, of course, at this point knows that the tide's starting to turn. She's, do not encourage this monster. This is vile. He goes, oh, come on, Bobby. Halloween is just no fun without you. Bobby kind of steps forward. Junie says to him, Bobby, if you leave now, you'll never get a key to the kingdom. He goes,
never.
He goes, come on, son, let's get some candy. She goes, you'll go to hell. He goes, you'll get candy. She goes, hell. He goes, candy. And they go back and forth for a little bit. Bobby finally is just like, stop.
Candy.
I don't care about candy. I just want to be with my dad. I mean, like super touching,
Oh,
right?
he just want to be with his pa.
Yeah, Hank says, all right then, and they both leave
That's
together.
cute.
All the kids take their cue from this. They start leaving too. Junie's left on her front porch. She goes, fine, go on, all of you, more room in heaven for me. Hank says, we got to get you home and scare you up a costume. I mean, it's good play
Scare
of
you up
words,
a
right?
costume. Yeah, I like that.
Bobby's biggest point, though. Okay. Hey,
How
Dad.
much time is left in Halloween to go trick or treating? They've done.
Yeah, it's not a ton.
It's got to be like close to 1
It's not a
a.m.
ton.
right now.
But Bobby's biggest point, and this is how this thing ends. He says, okay, hey, Dad, I was just kidding before. I care about candy. I care a lot.
A lot.
And that is it. That's
the
it.
end of the
Everybody goes
episode.
up and down the street. Happy Halloween. Credits roll. And that is it. So that is Halloween,
that is
which
Halloween.
is season 2, episode 4. It aired October 26, 1997.
Yep. And
You want to tell people where they can find us
Yeah,
if they
you
care
can
about
find
this?
our previous recording of this episode on youtube.com/@BWAAA.
I bet this one's better.
That's 3 A's. I don't know.
I bet this one's better.
I don't know. They might give it a run for its money for sure. BWAAA.
I wasn't wearing a costume in the first
KOTH.
one.
No, you sure weren't.
Yeah.
That's 3 A's. AAA.
Barely wearing one now.
BWAAA. KOTH. That's on all social media, Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that. But if you go to the YouTube, if y'all could go and like and subscribe and hit the notification bell,
Don't tell me
and
what to
you'll get
do.
notifications for when we go live. We go live like mostly on Saturdays.
It's so very dark in here.
It is a dark room.
It's just a very dark room.
Didn't you?
But yeah,
ask
we
it to
appreciate
be the
everybody
star?
listening.
Mason, last word.
Oh, real quick, I was going to ask you guys your favorite Halloween candy.
Our favorite Halloween what?
Candy.
Oh, favorite
Candy.
Halloween candy?
Yeah, as a kid.
I
Said,
always
The
you know,
free kind.
What?
The free kind.
Oh, well,
I just
yeah,
liked
so-
all candy, so there wasn't one. The only one I really don't really like is
You know the one I-
Chico sticks.
You know
That's
the
a
one I really-
non-committal answer, Rusty.
The one I really enjoyed, anytime you could get them, and this wasn't just necessarily a Halloween thing, but where
Wait,
those
wait,
little...
Mike, before you answer. Is this a thing people can still purchase in 2024? Or
Yeah, yeah.
Are you sure?
Okay.
If you go to where they sell the candy cigarettes, they still have these. They're the little wax bottles full
Oh,
of
yeah.
liquid.
I know what you're
right?
talking about.
So what I used to do is I would buy those, and I would drink all the stuff out of them, and then I would take all the wax and I would put it in the microwave and melt it down and make a big blob out of it, and then I would make like figures and skulls
yeah.
and stuff out of it.
Yeah, there you go.
They
I
really
had a
had
job
nothing-
at one point where I would do that. That's how busy I was at this job. I would take those things and I would form them into little skulls, and I would paint them with.
I thought you said you had a job doing that.
where I would paint them with whiteout. Right, that's very creative.
That is creative.
They really had nothing better to
skulls.
do in the 30s.
I worked at a beta store, Mason. It was beta only. Had a lot of time on my hands.
I can imagine so.
It was either drink those things and make skulls in the microwave or get drunk, one or the other. So,
And-
you know,
and Rusty,
it was,
you're
of
Went
course,
ahead
it
and
was
did
both. I chose
Went ahead and
both.
did both.
Rusty, you're not signing off until I get a committed answer.
Yeah, what's your favorite candy?
Oh, favorite candy?
Halloween
Halloween.
candy, though.
When you were a
That's
kid.
different
Halloween
from
candy?
regular candy.
I guess the
Chocolate-covered cherries.
I
Clock
like
is ticking, sir.
generally the neighborhoods that give out full size candies. So, I mean, I guess like a Crunch Bar.
Snickers.
I like Crunch
Come on.
Bar. I like Snickers. Well,
Snickers have a weight to
I
it.
actually manufactured Snickers,
Yeah.
and I used to run the
don't-
machines that I used to cook Snickers for a living. So
I don't
I'm
like that
good
story
on
because I know
Snickers.
you.
Yeah, I'm good on Snickers.
Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I guess here.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody on YouTube.
We really appreciate it. And thank you to our gigantic audience we have here. Join us next time. And just one thing left to say.
We Matanye.
We Matanya indeed. That's it. Music.
That's it.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.